More examples. Let's do more with these, more with those dots. The dots can be a challenge. Let's try. Okay. If you've got, remember the dot equals half of whatever comes before it. So if it was one of these, then the dot equals 1, because 1 is half of 2. If you've got one of these, now what does it equal? So, well, what is a quarter note made of? Well, what's half of a quarter note? Well, or another way, 2 of what gets you a quarter note? If you remember from that example, one of these and another one of these, you can, with those two things, you can fill in the space of a quarter note. So basically, this is a half of a quarter note, or this is a half of a quarter note. Therefore, this dot, when placed after a quarter note, equals half of a quarter note, which is one of these. So a dotted quarter note equals one of these, one of those, and one of those. Just the sound. It's not going to be 3 claps. Okay. That might be a little confusing, but let's put it to work. Let's figure this out. So if you've got remember the dotted quarter note, this gets 1 beat. With the dot, it's going to get, in addition to 1 beat, half of a beat. So it gets the beginning of the second beat, because that dot, that is the second beat. And then let's do the second half of the second beat. That's an 8th note. I was drawing them before like this, but when you just draw it by itself, like that. Okay, and then let's do the 3rd beat. We'll just do the 3rd beat, a straight quarter note without a dot, and the 4th beat, a quarter note without a dot. So this drawing, I put the 2nd beat nothing here, because this dot is still sounding from the 1st beat. This dot makes the 1st beat longer by half a beat, which pushes into the 1st half of the 2nd beat. And then we only have room for the 2nd half of the 2nd beat here, and I put in an 8th note there. Okay. Confusing. But let's clap it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to put in some more scaffolding and say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for a little moment here. And it can show you exactly how this works. I don't like to say too much scaffolding all the time. I call it scaffolding, but because it makes everything a little robotic, and you don't really feel it. You don't see it from the vantage point of an entire measure. You just you're standing too close to each beat. You can't really appreciate the whole thing. But let's just do it like that. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, without the scaffolding, just the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, without anything. So it has this nice effect where it's long, short, long, long. Although the last 2 longs were not as long as the first long. Okay, you kind of get a feel for that. Let's play with them some more. So I keep on doing these measures that go up to 4 beats, that is. Okay, so the first beat is this quarter note. And then this dot lengthens this initial sound we're going to make by half a beat, because that's half of a quarter note. So that half a beat is going to be the first half of the second beat, which leaves room for the second half of the second beat, which we're going to fill up with the only thing that can fill up half a beat, which is an eighth note. And then it's time for the third beat, which is this quarter note, lengthened by an extra half beat, which is the beginning of the fourth beat, lengthened by this dot here, and then the second half of the fourth beat we fill up with an eighth note. And then we've got a straight measure from over here, 3 and 4. Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really like how these go straight into the next beat. Straight into the next beat. Gives it a very nice effect. It's called a dotted effect. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more time without any numbers. So your mind really has to be engaged even when the hands aren't clapping. You have to really engage yourself to hear the second beat happen and the fourth beat happen. Whoops. And the fourth and the fourth beat happen. You can make a, let's make a kind of a rhetorical sound at that moment. It's like 1, 3, 1. So you feel it. You have to feel these beats happen, even though you're not making a sound to indicate anything. But you can still feel it. And if you do feel it, the audience does feel it. 2, 3, 4. That's true of a lot of different kinds of rhythms. You have to feel things and not necessarily clap. All right.